Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Racing Topic Podcast. I'm your host, Chad Webster. Welcome to episode 17 with my guest today, our reigning Kart Stars, Briggs Senior and Kart Stars champion, Logan Pacza. Logan, how you doing tonight?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. Driver of the number 316 for the Prime Power team in Briggs and Stratton Senior. Well, Logan, coming off of a real good let me rephrase that. Coming off of a
You're
very
good.
good year last year, man.
Yeah, it was great. Probably my best season. I had a ton of fun doing it. Uh, Probably learned the most too that I ever have from a single season of racing. And yeah, I was able to get some good results too. Just overall, yeah, really solid.
Awesome stuff, buddy. So, let's start from the beginning, shall we? How did you get into karting? Like, what made you really gravitate towards it, or were you exposed to it first off? Like, where did it all start for you?
So for me, it started when I was 9. I went to a summer camp at Urbsville Karting Center. It's no longer functioning. I think it was uprooted a few years ago. But back then, it was quite a cool track. Had like bridge and tons of really neat corners. And I went there. I did a summer camp. Really enjoyed it. I did two of them. I can't remember if I finished second in my first one or the second one, but I had a lot of fun, and that kind of sparked my interest for the sport. I didn't really do much after my first year doing that camp, but after I came back the next year, I sought out Hamilton, and I wanted to see if I could do something about like this more competitively because the summer camps were really casual. Like you were just there to drive, you were there to have fun and like play mini golf in between sessions. So I wanted to see if there was a deeper level to this because throughout my whole childhood, I'd tried a lot of different sports and I'd never really hooked onto one. Like I tried hockey, I tried baseball, I tried a bunch of stuff, and I would play it for a couple months, kind of become disinterested, and
Oh,
then move on. But this one stuck with me. I kept thinking about it after I did it, and I kept wanting to come back and do more. So we went to Hamilton. We did one season of Arrive and Drive during the summer. And then just before that season ended, we became a part of the scholarship program with Trevor, got our own cart, and we did one club race before that season ended in 2017. I was 10 at the time, and I was racing
wow.
in Briggs Junior. Yeah, so I got one race just before the season ended. I think it was in September, and I was starting at the back of the grid with all the rookies, and way up there on the front row was Jordan Pryor and David Barnes. So I did one race with them in junior before they moved up to senior. I hadn't really realized that till like 4 years after, but looking back, that's kind of funny.
Interesting. So you joined right as a bunch of us were moving to senior.
Yep. Yep.
Oh
I
my
was
God.
I was a part of the junior field with you guys
Oh,
for
that's
one
good. That
race.
adds
And then
another
you
name.
all and then you all went up. Yep.
I'm so glad
Yep.
because that junior field, like a lot of us that are now in senior talk about that junior field and how stacked it was. It was
Yep.
just dripping with talent.
Yeah, because you had Gianluca, you had you had Jordan, you, David, Nikki. Yeah, you had a lot of the guys that are now top seniors now.
I
So
could go
yeah,
on and
that
on,
was
man.
quite a stacked season. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So after that, I got into my first proper season in 2018. And I remember I started with Marco Felice and Logan Ferguson in at HRKC. And at that time, the club was really small. There were probably 15 drivers that showed up for every club race total across all the classes. So it was just me, Marco, and Ferguson in
Yeah,
junior. And that's just crazy to think about now, considering how big the Hamilton Club has gotten.
yeah.
It's ridiculous, and so that's kind of cool to look back on. I remember my first year, I was I was okay, but I hadn't really found. my groove yet. I hadn't found I don't think I was in the right mindset, but it was still a really fun year. Like going back to that thing I said before about sports and trying a bunch, I knew this was it. I knew I wanted to stick with this after that first year. I had so much fun. I think I won the HRKC championship,
Yeah.
but Marco missed a few races because he did some of the regional stuff, and I just stayed with club that year. I think
Mm.
I only did the fellows race that came to Hamilton, and it was super cool, fun experience. But I don't think I did that well. I think I was like knocking on the top 20, but
That's not how
that
I
was the
remember it.
really. How do you remember
I
it?
have a vivid memory. I don't mean to interrupt you. I have a vivid memory of you and Marco at that fellows race in 2019 running 1-2 coming across the line.
True. This is 2018.
Oh, sorry, my
2018.
bad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wrong
Yeah,
year.
yeah. Yeah, it was a big jump from 18 to 19. Because that was in 18 when I went, or not when I went, I guess when Fellows came to us. That was my big like first regional race.
Okay.
So that was like quite a like eye-opening experience because I was just racing. I was used to racing four guys at club,
Yeah.
and now all of a sudden I'm in a 30 cart field and I'm like freaking out. Uh, so it was. I probably didn't enjoy that weekend very much, but it was very eye-opening, and I definitely was thinking about it for the rest of that season, kind of wanting to go and yeah, prove myself the next year and see what I could do. And yeah, so we played out the rest of the 2018 season. That HRKC Club Championship was cool to get. And then in 2019, I think there was kind of another big jump. Uh, I would say from when I started in 2017 to 2020 was like a lot of development years. Like I changed a lot every year. Once I got to 2020, I think that I would make smaller leaps development wise, but those first 3 years were really different from each other in a lot of ways. In 2019, I just remember being more competitive. Um, I was much more determined to go out there and do as much as I could. So I had a little bit more success. I think I did the full Fellows Championship or close to it in 2019. And yeah, like you said, the Hamilton round went really well. Um, I think Marco won. I came second, and Jake Cowden came third in that final. And yeah, it was really exciting because I think it was just us three kind of, battling it out the whole race. It was really fun. And then because that was when it was the 2 day event. I think that's
Yes.
when it started. And I think I double podiumed. I think I got second
Hey,
on
there we go.
Saturday and then third on Sunday. Yeah, Sunday was a crazy race.
Yes.
I think I gained a couple spots at the end of it. I don't think I was in the third spot for a while. I think I was in like sixth or fifth for most of that race, and then some chaos unfolded and I got through there. So yeah, I did the full Fellows series. Learned a lot, but could definitely see places where I was lacking. I think the way I like to talk about it is I was very reactionary.
Mm.
So when when I would go out on track, I wouldn't so much have a plan in my head. I would just kind of go with the flow of what was happening. And what that kind of made me was I wasn't very solid. Like you could move me out of the way and I probably wouldn't do that much about it because I didn't have this goal in my head of where I wanted to be. I just kind of played it corner by corner.
Yeah.
And the problem is that, you'd pass me and I'd probably push you for like almost the entire race before I tried to pass you again. So from, yeah, like I said, 17 until 2020, I really kind of worked that out in my system. I got better at, before going on track, I was like, okay, this is what I want, and I'm going to work to get it. And instead of just, I'll go out, I'll see what happens. The guy passes me, I might push him, I might not. My goals became clearer, and that was really the progression that started in 17 and ended in 2020. So I think I think I came second in the HRKC championship that year. And then I don't remember what happened in fellows championship wise. I had a couple bad rounds. I think I DNF'd a few. But that was the first year I did Canadian Nationals.
Hey, there we go.
And yeah, and that was also fun. That was another eye-opening thing because it was sort of the same guys that I'd been racing in fellows, but there is an air of focus around the Canadian Karting Championships that isn't at fellows races. There is like a competitiveness and a level that people push themselves to that I hadn't seen yet, which was cool, and that was also the thing that I'd been thinking about, after that race. But there were a couple. There was one thing that I still think about, I still kind of laugh about from that race. It was in the final, and me and Ferguson were close to each other on track, and going into turn six, I think on the first lap, he got like shoved from the back,
Oh
and
no.
he climbed up on top of me in turn
Oh
six,
no.
and I was wearing like a neck brace, and I was like folded sideways
Oh.
out of the seat, and you just see me like under there pushing, trying to push his go-kart off my head, and Secan got a picture of it. Cody got a picture, and like 1 week later, I looked on Instagram, and EVS, the people who make the neck braces, they like posted the picture on their Instagram, and they were like, "This is why you should wear a neck brace." So it just
Yep.
became like marketing for them. I thought it was really funny. So yeah, that was a funny little thing, and that I think it went viral too. Like there were like 3,000 likes on
Oh
that.
my
So
God.
yeah, yeah, it was big in karting at that time. That was my first moment of public notice, I guess.
Oh boy.
Getting driven over at nationals. But
Jeez.
yeah, I still had fun in that weekend. It was good. It ended bitterly, but yeah. Uh, so that was 2019, and I don't think I don't think I was top five in the fellows championship. I could be wrong. My memory for those years isn't amazing, especially results wise. But into 2020, I had a big mentality shift over the winter because I was thinking like, man, Marco's winning a lot. I think Marco had just moved to Rock for
Mm.
2020, so I wasn't racing him anymore. But it was me and Ferguson, and then Jordan West joined our little group there. So that it was good to race with him as well. But yeah, over that off season, I was just thinking like, man, you gotta stand up for yourself a bit more. You have to not just think about what other people want. You need to make up your own mind, and you need to go achieve for yourself,
Yeah.
because what you want should be the same, or should have like more value or the same value as what other people want. So I was more cognizant of that, and I was really trying to make sure I didn't just put up with other people. I
Yeah.
wanted to treat other people strategically instead of just reacting to them. And that I think that was a really strong shift. Like that really, really helped me out. Because I think in 2020 I won my first fellows race.
Hey, there
So
we go.
at Mostport, yeah, and yeah, I was against Daniel Ali. I remember that. And yeah, that was kind of the beginning of the success. I really realized that that's what I'd been missing for the last few years, because the pace was always there. I was always quick, but it was always with racecraft that I was
Mm.
lacking. And I think it was that mentality switch that really helped me. So 2020 was actually a really successful year. I got a couple wins. I think the dash, a couple fellows races. Um, that was pandemic year, so there was
Yes.
no nationals. There's actually very little racing. Yeah, it was a very, because we started really late in the year, so very
Started.
little club racing, and then it was a really condensed fellow series as well. Uh, so yeah, we won the fellows championship in junior
Hey.
that year, which is really
Nice.
cool. I was super super happy about that, and after that happened, we started talking about two-stroke. We wanted to see kind of what the next level was. At that time, I still had ambitions for car racing.
Yeah.
I wanted to see how far I could get. I wanted to see what it would take and see if we had, the capacities to make it in that as a business, as a career.
Yeah.
But I guess that's later in the story. So in 21 we were just okay, let's push for two-stroke. Let's see, because that was what we've been told was the progression. Some people they started in two-stroke, but most people would start in Briggs, go to two-stroke, do that for a year or two. Yeah. And then you go and you try cars and you see how it goes.
Yeah.
So okay, it's time. We figured it was the best time to do it. And we got everything ready for the season. Um, no pandemic, so normal schedule again. And I
Was it?
ran. Was it normal schedule? I
Sorry,
think
I don't
it.
want to
No, you're
interrupt.
right. No, you're
It
right.
got,
You're
I
right.
think the
It
season
wasn't
got delayed
normal.
again until like June.
You're right. Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Oh,
So, oh yeah, it's funny how like your memory fades for that stuff.
man. I know,
But
right?
yeah, so you're right. It was still pandemic, still delayed, and but there was a nationals this year.
Yes. Thank God.
Yeah. And it started the trend of my national races, which we'll get to, which is
Oh
it's kind of
no.
funny. Yeah, it's not a good trend, I'll tell you that. But the season started off well. We won the first fellows race in two-stroke.
Hey,
I
there we
think
go.
it was in the wet as well. I tried to do two classes, the Briggs and the Rotax, not the Rotax, sorry, the Rock at that time, and it was a lot of work.
Yes.
We were pretty swamped and overwhelmed. I didn't think that the swapping was too bad or that it was messing me up, but I think it really helps when you can come off track and just kind of let your mind wander about the session that happened. When you're just so like, go do this session, come off, immediately get ready for the break session, come off, and then I'm right back to the rock again.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of time for your mind to calm down and kind of process what it's just learned from the session you did. So I think what ultimately happened was one class would suffer because
Mm-hmm.
I would be thinking about the other one more. And obviously, because we were spending so much money to do two-stroke, we ended up kind of sacrificing Briggs in a lot of ways. So I think later in the season, we kind of gave up on that.
Oh, okay.
And we just resigned to club, which was still really fun, but we really, really focused on the two-stroke at that time.
Yeah.
And we had some success. We finished second in the Fellows series, and
Hey, there we go.
then yeah, it was good. And we won a couple races along the way. That was back when we went to Innisfil. That track was crazy in
Yeah.
two-stroke, but we kind of figured it out with those sealant patches and how to use them. So we had some success there, and that was really nice to see.
It's a driver's
And then
track.
it is, yeah, yeah, for sure. And it takes a lot of focus because that track will just beat you around and make you tired.
Yes, it
So
will.
yeah, you really had to be locked in the whole time. Or else, you dip one tire, you hit one curb
Oof.
wrong, and you're
Yeah.
losing like 5/10 easily. So yeah, that was a cool track. It'd be cool to go back there maybe once or twice,
I
but
hope so.
yeah, yeah, it'd be cool to put that track back in the fold again. Uh, anyway, so yeah, we went to nationals that year as well, and it started. That was the beginning of my DNFing nationals
Oh
streak.
no.
So that year, it was me, Ingrata, and Frankie Esposito fighting at the front, and Ingrata passed me turn one at Mostport, and I tried to hold the outside on him, and I got into the marbles a little bit. And
Ah.
with those Levanto tires, it takes a bit to get the dust and the marbles off of them. So going to turn three, I broke at the normal point, and I just like flew over the crest, got
Oh.
air, and just spun it around into the wall. So that was that. And then I ran Rotax that weekend as well.
Oh my
And
God, man.
um, it was like 50-50 my fault, 50 Frankie's fault, but we like got into each other and like a synchronized swimmer spun in
Oh,
turn 10 and lost all the spots. So yeah, that started my trend at nationals for sure. Um, and then but it's still really positive experiences. Like we were running at the front. I started the final on pole in rock, so it like definitely not all negative,
no.
just bitter ends for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, but still like learned so much. I think that when the time is right, everybody should try two stroke because it's a great way to check yourself in the sense that habits you kind of have to let some habits go, especially the ones you learn from Briggs.
Yeah.
They can really bite you with the two stroke. So it was good to learn that. It was good to, it definitely made me more adaptable. You know, I think that a lot of people get into their habits, and then when they're presented with different situations, they will. My throat's drying up real a lot, Chad. Mind if I'm gonna grab a bit of
Go
water.
get
We
a
can like
drink,
pause.
buddy.
We can
Go get a
pause this,
drink.
yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so
Where were we?
nationals.
Okay.
Nationals and kind of two stroke. Um, yeah, it's always good, I think, to test new carts out and to challenge yourself with new situations because it just grows your arsenal and it makes you more adaptable and more comfortable with change when you are facing it suddenly. Like it starts pouring on the track, or you're at a new configuration or a new track you've never been to. It can help you hit the ground running, especially
Yeah.
so just like exposing yourself to different things, especially new carts, is a great way to kind of prepare for that, I've found. So I definitely developed a lot as a driver that season as well. And then uh, at the end of that season, I was talking to car teams, specifically Britain West, about trying to organize something in the next couple of years, see if I could get a seat. Because a lot of the karting drivers, like Jake Cowden and Nick Ilks, they were moving up, and I thought it was a good time to as well. Because we done pretty well in two stroke. We didn't see the overall benefit of doing another season. So we
Hmm.
decided to try and make the push to cars. Thought it was a good time to do so. And we talked to some teams, and all the seats were kind of filled up.
Ah.
A lot of karting drivers had either talked to them in years prior and gotten something arranged. So we had to wait a year. That was 22. That was when I first moved up to senior, got to race with you guys,
Yeah.
and that is another level too, especially back then, because I think there was such a difference between junior and senior, especially in just the aggression levels for
Oh
sure.
yeah.
So that was cool to get used to. That was cool to experience. I definitely went into the season with the attitude of just trying to gain respect. I didn't I didn't want it to be the season where I, pushed as hard as I could and if I made enemies, I made enemies. I
Yeah.
recognized that this was a class I'm going to be in for a long time, and if I want to have as much success as I can over like the time span, I'm going to want to make friends instead of enemies. So
Exactly.
that's really what that first year was about. It was about sort of showing people that yeah, I had pace, but I would also race you cleanly if I was around you. So I always tried to communicate that and just try and make friends with people. That was really the whole point of that first year, and even got close to some wins. Had a couple chances in Hamilton. Had one at Moseport. David got me around the outside of turn 10 though, and snuffed it out. But still, really, really positive year. Learned so much, and. Uh, at the end of that year, I think results wise, I didn't do nationals because we were saving up because we knew we had a year of cars
Yeah.
in 23. So we kind of laid back a bit and we just wanted to save up. So we did a pretty minimalistic season I just want to do the Fellows series to keep like that, just to keep the rust off. And we did club as well, and that was really fun. And then in 23, things got more serious and we made the move to cars. So basically, no Briggs. We did some club races when we could, and we did the fellows at Hamilton. But the main focus of like all our attention, all the money was on 1600 for that year,
Yeah.
which we did with Britain West. And that was super positive. Tons of success and just learning as well. It was another one of those things, like I kind of said with two stroke, where doing new things that you aren't used to can really develop you as a driver. And this was definitely one of those cases. I mean, going from a go-kart to a car is a big jump,
Yeah, it is.
and um, definitely learned a lot from it, which was awesome, and had some success along the way. Won quite a few races, and the championship for just the Ontario series. And there we didn't do any races in Quebec, and just had a great time. I was teammates with Callum Baxter, so that was kind of cool because before then, we'd always kind of been like split between Rem and Prime. Like we were always very much against each other
Yeah.
on track, and we didn't talk to each other that much either. But it was cool to get to know him during the course of that season and work with him closely. He's a really competitive guy, and he's doing quite well now with like British F4 and stuff, so that's great to see. Uh, that year, yeah, that year was pretty good. Um, like I said, not much breaks, but we did actually have a really good run at the Hamilton Fellows because that was the one where it was dry the whole weekend, and then it started raining
Started
midway
raining
through the
during the
final.
final.
Yeah, and I think like a pack of five with like David, John, and Dylan Rennie, they all went off into the dirt in
Yep.
turn one because they were all like full sending it, and it started raining pretty heavy there. And I remember the dust cloud was just like
Oh, it was
insane.
massive.
Yeah, yeah. So that was a fun race. I came second in that. Jordan won. Um, and yeah, was that still? Yeah, it was still 2 day event,
Yeah, it was
right?
still today. That was
Back
like
then?
one
Yeah,
of the
okay.
first that was the first big league race on the new surface, I think.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep, you're right. And Nationals was there that year as well.
Yes, it
Yeah, I
was.
didn't go to Nationals, but that race was also crazy with
Oh, was it a
those carts getting tangled in
oh
turn
boy.
10, and the controversy that happened with who won that race. And
Yeah.
yeah, but that was cool to watch. I don't think I was there to watch it. I think I watched it on Ari Corkadillos' channel afterwards.
Yeah, that was
But
a great video. He got like so much of that
mhm.
great stuff. I went back and
Oh
watched it. I'm
yeah.
like, so that's what happened at the front. I started like 23rd. I struggled that weekend, man. I had so many problems.
It was such a tough track to get to grips with the Renos, the sealant patches,
Hmm.
the dirt that was getting on the track too. It was
Yes.
yeah, it kind of felt like a temporary track, and at the time it kind of was. But yeah, it's gotten so much better over the last couple of years.
Yeah, it
I'm
has.
sure you feel the same way. It's
Oh,
just
I totally agree.
feels so much more solid. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the foundations are good now, which is great.
Yeah, it is.
Um, but yeah, I saw that Nationals race, and I was like, man, I kind of wish I was there. I was racing 1600 that weekend, and that was one where I was like, man, oh, could I have skipped out on one of these races and gotten back in the cart again? But yeah, so that was cool to see. And um, I really, no matter what happened with cars, I really wanted to come back and do Briggs because even when I was driving the cars to the racetrack, even if it wasn't like a crazy race happening, I would think about it and I would want to be
Hmm.
there because I'd already, at that point, I had been racing for just about 6 years. And I was just thinking, like, because you meet a lot of people, you make a lot of friends, and I didn't
Yeah.
really get to see them that much, which kind of sucked. But so while I was there, I was thinking, like, yeah, if this car thing doesn't work out, I want to go back and I want to do it for as long as I can, and that's what I've done. So, I mean, I'm very happy with that decision too. But yeah, so the car season was really good, and we capped it off by going to England with
Hey, oh,
the Team Canada scholarship guys,
hey, there we
and
go.
yeah, it was so cool. Like we raced at Brands Hatch, raced at Silverstone, just so cool to go to those places and to be up against like such competitive people. I've been told by some of the guys that were there that um, the fields that we were in, me and my teammate Alex Berg,
Hmm.
they were like some of the most stacked fields that had entered that race before.
Wow.
So even though we weren't like at the front, we were usually like top 15. We're in and around there because we just showed up for the weekend. We did like 2 days of practice and then it was right into racing. And we learned that the U.S. team and of course the British guys who'd been doing this race forever, they'd had like 1,000 laps on us.
Oh
So
boy, yeah.
we were definitely at a bit of a deficit, but I think we still performed well. Like we showed good pace, but they definitely had a better grip of like the conditions and how to adjust the car to that. But it was still so fun, and again, really eye-opening experience again to see like people that talented with driving those cars because it's kind of like when you race in Canada and then you go to Grands, there is a
Yes.
level jump there, and it's the same. It's like the Grands of 1600. So that was cool to see, and yeah, that was a really fun weekend. And then Silverstone was good too. We got lucky in the final, and we also showed good pace and did the right things. But we got sixth out of
Hey,
I
there we
think
go.
92 drivers who entered that race.
Wow.
So yeah, that was really cool. It was really cool to walk away from that trip with a great result, and um, that was a good way to cap off the push for cars
I'd
because
say.
as we went through the season, as we talked to people, as we learned more about the industry, we realized how much it would take to go levels higher and to actually make a career out of it. And, like how much we would have to put in
Yeah.
before we would start to get anything back. So we kind of realized that cars wasn't for us, that we wouldn't really be able to do it feasibly. I had other goals too. I wanted to go to school. I wanted,
Yeah.
to get my degree, get a master's and that kind of thing. So we let go of the dream of cars for the foreseeable future, and we went back to karting and had just as much fun doing it in 24. So it was back to Briggs Senior, catching up with all the guys, you know, getting getting those friendships back again. Not that they were ever lost, but
Nah,
you
that's
don't
good.
see people for like a year. You feel a little bit of disconnection, but
Yeah.
it was right back again after. And yeah, we rode that season out with them, and it was really funny. So it's like me, Jordan, David and Mitchell joined us for that season in senior. Actually, he had in 23, but I don't know
Yeah,
if he
that's
did
right.
many races. Yeah. And then yeah, so it was us at the front with Prime and uh, John was with us in 22, but he went and did his own thing in 24, but it was still cool to race him. And that season went well. I think it was yeah, after that we really put everything into Briggs. We didn't really go back to the two stroke because it's uh, it's very much a stepping stone, and you don't want to stay at the stepping stone too long if you're not gonna go to the level above. So
Yeah.
we went to Briggs and we were like, okay, this is where we're gonna stay. Like we'll do this for as long as we can until life kind of uh, demands more time than we can give karting, and we'll probably stick with that for as long as we can too. But yeah, 24 was a good season. We was after the gap in 23, I did feel like I needed to kind of do what I did in 22,
Yeah.
where you're just trying to get respect back. and you're just trying to build up and just send the right message. So, because again, I was like, man, this is going to be where I'm racing forever now. So, I thought that was important to do. So it wasn't crazy competitive. I was probably more in that reactionary mindset for most of it. Um, but still a good season. I think we also came close to some potential wins in 24, and that was cool to see. A lot of seconds, a lot of really close battles, and that I learned so much from. That was, I think, the main thing with that season is I learned so much about how to handle last laps, how to make sure the cart's good
Yeah.
for those last couple so that you really have the package to actually make a move. Because I found that a couple of times it was just that I didn't have the grip at the time compared to other guys to hold them off during those last laps. So that was something I learned a lot about. But yeah, it was a good year. And I can't remember, Chad. Did we have nationals at that time in
24?
24?
Yes. Yes, we did.
Yeah,
That was at Hamilton.
right. Remember so little of that.
I know what
Oh,
happened. It was dry again, dry the whole weekend, and you guys were the very last session, and they actually had to take a bit of a break because there was lightning in the area, and
okay. You're bringing it all back for me.
during the
Yeah.
lightning strike timer, the rain just and we could see it coming. It just came and just drenched everything.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for regaling my memory about that because yeah, I had lost a bit of it. There are a lot of stories with that race. So in 24, me and my dad were kind of like co-mechanicking the cart.
Hmm.
So we were kind of each in charge of different things like clutch or oil changes and whatever. And for one of as the pre-final, I forgot to tighten the clutch after we
Oh
had
no.
made a gear change, and the clutch exploded on like lap 3 of the pre-final. So we started the final way at the back, but we knew this rain was coming in. And we thought, okay, we'll take a gamble and we'll put wets on, even though the track is dry, because we think it's gonna rain about halfway through.
Yeah.
And nobody else had done that. Only very few, like a couple people who were also starting near the back and kind of had nothing to lose, did that. And we rolled up to the grid and it looked perfect. Bunch of the front guys all on slicks. We could see the rain coming in, and I thought there was a chance we might actually be able to go for the win.
Yeah.
And then the lightning struck, and that was it because they delayed it,
Oh.
and then everyone could come back and change their tires
Yeah.
to the proper selection. So that was like a mini heartbreak before the race even started. But we still had a good race. We got a little unlucky on the first lap. We got in a little pile up coming out of 12 at the time, and that put us really far back. I think we came out of that first lap probably about third last, but I had a really good comeback drive. I I really like Hamilton in the wet. I've had a lot of practice on it, and I was yeah had a lot of pace, and I was able to get back through the field and pass a lot of guys. I think I finished 11th from
Oh, that's
last
pretty good.
with like a pretty hefty gap at the start of the race to anyone in front. So that was cool. It kind of broke the streak of DNFing nationals, which was cool. That was nice. It was cool to have a really like just positive race all the way through,
Yeah.
except for the start, I guess. So that was cool. In 24, I'm trying to remember fellows. I think I finished fourth in that championship, but had a lot of great races along the way and learned so much. And it really did kind of light a fire of like I really want to get this first win in 25. That was a
Yeah.
big like goal for me because I think I had come close in 24. I think I'd come close about 4 times because there were a couple chances in 22. There was one chance in 23 with that race where it started raining a
Yep.
little bit way through, and then 24. I think there were about three times where it's like, well, Just like one little choice would have changed, and I might
Ah,
be able to give it that first win. So yeah, that was definitely something I was thinking about going to 25. Uh, and I found that I thought, okay, this is the year where I would like to kind of do what I did in 2020, when I just decided like, okay, I'm gonna have my goals and I'm gonna go out and try to achieve them, not no matter what, but you know, I wanted to put my priority on it.
yeah.
So I really came into that season with that mentality, and it again, I think it really paid off. I think mentality is a big deal when it comes to racing. So we started off the season strong at Goodwood, because this is when we stopped doing fellows, and it
Yeah.
was kart stars and interclub, and we had good seasons in both. Obviously, kart stars went a little better, um, but interclub was still really really positive. Really really close championship fight at the end,
Oh,
which was
was it
awesome.
ever?
But yeah, it was such a stressful weekend
You're
because
telling
it
me.
was so close. And because there were points associated with qualifying,
Yep.
and we had so many heat races, every race was just like, man, like we were just thinking about it so much. And, what can we do to get up there and also to keep the guys that were so close in the championship with like as far down as we can so that we
Yep.
can have that advantage. Yeah, that was a stressful weekend. I don't think I'd want to relive it because it was quite the ordeal.
We're
But
probably gonna go through the exact same thing this year, man.
yeah, yeah, I totally expect it to. It'd be exactly what would happen. Uh, but yeah, so Cardstar was positive. Kind of the first time going back to Goodwood in a while for
Yeah.
me, because in it was just early fellows when I started that we would go there. In 22 and 21, we didn't go at all.
Mm.
Actually, in 2020 either, we didn't go.
Oh, okay.
So it was cool. It was cool to come back. I really enjoy racing Goodwood. Um, it's just it can get crazy in the mid pack and stuff sometimes with all those carts on such a narrow track, but
Yeah,
I
man.
still really enjoy it. I do like that track a lot, especially to drive it. It's such a flowy track.
It's so much
um,
fun.
yeah, that I enjoy. So that was cool. We were quick for most of the weekend, and then we started on pole for the final. And then I do think though that it rained in between. So for the pre-final it rained and then it dried up again for the final
Yeah.
in 25. And we didn't really count for that with the setup. So we came in with a lot less grip than some of the other drivers, and we just kind of got outpaced out of that win because John set up his cart really well. Eric
Just
Moore
dude
was another
ever.
guy who like really knew what he was doing, got the setup right, and they were really able to be like strong and take control of that race.
Yeah.
So I think came in with P3 from that, but we got some good points in the pre-final and in qualifying. So I think we were still leading the championship after that race had happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's how the
And
points
then,
went. Something like that.
yeah. And then went to Moseport. That was successful. Jaden Harry was super quick and he won that, but we came second. And then he also won Inter Club there because, yeah, he was just on fire for those 2 weekends. And then and that actually made the championship really tight because he had like really good points at Moseport and I had good points at Goodwood, so that was just getting closer and closer. And then when Hamilton Kart Stars came around, he also had a really successful weekend again. So yeah, he was me and him were really really close for Kart Stars. And then by the time Hamilton Car Stars rolled around, we had OIC as well. Can't remember if it was the weekend before or after. I think it was after Car Stars that we had that. But that was when everything got so tight. It was basically me, David, and Harry in the running for that one. Um, because David had a really good round at Goodwood. Harry was really good at Moseport. And then I was kind of like okay at Goodwood and then also quite good at Moseport. So we were all, I think, within like 20 points going into that weekend. So it was super close.
Cart stars
For
points?
for Interclub.
Interclub. Okay.
Yeah, it was really close going to that last race, and it was quite chaotic at the end too.
Yeah, it was.
But ultimately, David came out on top for not only the race but also the championship. So that was honestly awesome to see. We got really close, and yeah, it was disappointing when we couldn't like get all the way there. But still really good race and good to see him win that championship too. And then, yeah, last two. Oh yeah, so coming up to uh, Kart Stars Nationals at Innisfil, uh,
You mean Shannonville?
Shannonville. Yeah, you got me. Um, Another track we'd never been to, and yeah, we are just thinking about, how to set things up for that, what we should do. Um, and we figured it out kind of quickly. It's it was easier because the track is so flat out.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, you put the right amount of grip in the cart, make sure the gear's good, and there's not a lot else that goes into it. So it's
Not
pretty
really.
simple. And that, yeah, so we were lucky for that. Definitely could have been a much more complicated new track that we went to, and that might have been more difficult, but we had good pace kind of right away, so that was good. And it was 1.5 times points, so we knew it was important for the championship, and Harry was right with us, so we wanted to make sure we were uh, you want to make sure we did well so that we hopefully could have some sort of buffer between me and him going into that last Kart Stars race because it's reverse, never driven Goodwood in reverse, and it's a
Yeah.
night race, so anything can really happen. We just wanted there to be like a cushion so that it wasn't like down to the line like Inter Club again because that was a stressful weekend. Uh, but we got lucky at Shannonville. We had good pace. Nothing crazy happened to us during the race. We had a pretty consistent weekend, and in the final, kind of me and Owen McCarthy broke away, and I was just able to get him on the last lap coming to the line. It was one of those photo finishes. I think it was like 2 thousandths of a
One
second.
thousandth of a second, man.
Yeah, but the funny thing about that is you can't really see 2 thousandths
No.
visually. So going through the in lap, we didn't know who won.
Yeah.
We both actually looked at each other and we were just like, I don't know.
I don't know who won.
Um, and because of that, we just went straight into the pits after the
Oh,
race. But we were supposed to come around to the start finish line because they had the trophies there and Dan
yeah.
was gonna interview us. But we were so busy thinking about who won that we just completely let it slip out of our mind and we just drove straight into the pits. So Dan like came and to like find me and interviewed me after. I said sorry and but uh, coming into the pits because again, I think at this point there'd been like 7 times
Yeah.
where I like almost got that win, but it just didn't happen. And I was looking at my dad and Owen's dad, and Owen's dad like pointed at me, said one, and then pointed at Owen,
Hey.
said two, and I just lifted my head back, and I was like, oh man, finally. So that was awesome. That was awesome to get. It was a cool feeling, and also kind of learned something about winning that weekend, and it's just that it's temporary. Like, it doesn't really change you as a person. You're still the same driver
Yeah.
after you get that first win, but it's definitely a cool accomplishment too. But it's definitely not like you get the win and it's like, okay, I'm good. Like I don't need to win anymore. It's
Yeah.
very much just, um, yeah, just a thing that you love it when it happens, but then it goes by and you want it just as much again. So
Exactly.
definitely learn that and learn that maybe the more valuable things are more related to like growth
Yeah.
and feeling like you progressed instead of just how many trophies you have on your wall. So that was definitely something I learned from this past season. Um, anyway, so yeah, Shannonville went really well, and then we were coming into the last Kart Stars round. Um, because of the 1.5 times points, we did have a bit of a buffer to Jaden in second. And we had some good heats, good qualifying, good pre-final. And I believe that by the pre-final, I'd already clinched it. So
Ayo.
the pressure was kind of off for that final. And I was kind of happy too because it could have gone really, really bad with the way those starts were happening
Yeah. It was
going
pretty
into
crazy.
going into like forward turn nine, just with all those carts like breaking and kind of getting into each other. So it was good to feel like, okay, I can just go for this race, and if it goes bad, it goes bad. It's fine.
Yep.
The championship's already secured. So that was nice. And then, yeah, we kind of we learned from, funnily enough, the first round where we didn't put enough grip in the cart after it had rained and it all dried up again.
Yeah.
And not to say that the night is the same as rain, but definitely the track got a lot slicker.
Yeah.
And we kind of learned from what happened in round one, and we put more grip into the cart than we probably thought we'd need. And it actually ended up being the perfect amount. The cart was really
Heyo.
good, and we were just able to hold the lead pretty much the whole race. I think Eric passed me once, but I got back by him pretty quickly and just controlled it from there, and got my second win in senior, second win of the season.
Hey.
So that was awesome. Yeah, it was just a great season, and then capped it off with Kart Stars win for the championship. So yeah, that was awesome. That was great stuff.
Stuff, man. Especially in a field of that where it's like many times in the year, there's like 50 of us or even
Hmm.
more in the Kart
Yeah, we
Stars field.
had
It
the
was
the biggest
rivaling
grids.
the interclub fields.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, yeah, I remember most port was particularly large. Hamilton too, because all the HRKC guys usually come out for those races. Yeah, it was really cool to see fields that big. I even remember Goodwood was really big because we had to have an A and
50
B final.
plus. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we couldn't fit all of them on track at once. So yeah, that was cool to
God.
see. It's great to see like how much it's been growing
Yeah.
last couple of years. I think the last three in particular, like really just ramping up every time, and I think this season will be the same.
I hope
Just
so.
based on the numbers that I'm hearing of, new people who are joining the sport for the first time, we're gonna have even bigger fields this year,
Oh
and that's
boy.
awesome. That's awesome to see. Yeah, maybe we'll need a C final or something.
Oh my God, man.
Yeah, can you imagine that?
Oh, jeez. That's absolutely nuts.
40 plus cart B final?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
It's a lottery just to make it's an achievement to make it into the A main at this
I
point.
know, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
I would feel so bad because I do know that in Europe they have to have C finals because they have so
oh,
many like Rotax guys. And I just can't imagine like what that day would be like. You do a full length final, or because sometimes they are shorter, like an almost full length final for C, then another one for B, then another one for A.
oh,
And you're just fighting for your life to get through every time. So yeah, it might come to that, but it's
oh
probably a
man.
net positive for the sport anyway. So
I'd say
yes,
so. There is times where it's too much. So
for
I don't want
sure.
to call the Grand Nationals out for this or whatever. It's great that we got in 24, we got like the biggest one that I saw was
Hmm.
116 in senior light.
Yep. Yeah.
And almost half of us didn't make the final because they don't have a B final. It's just LCQ and that's it. There's only 60 that go
Hmm.
in the final. Everybody else, we're sorry, but that's it.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough at Grants. Actually, yeah, right. That is one thing I haven't touched on. We did also do Grants for the first time in 25. Um, and that was a super cool experience, super cool to race against all those US guys who I don't want to say take Briggs more seriously, but they are so good at getting those brakes carts set up, and they know Newcastle better than us Canadians
Yeah.
too. Um, but I don't know. We have been going for a long time, so that's probably not as drastic as it was when we first went, and they'd been racing there for like years and years, and we this was our first year going. So it was also cool to see like the Canadians were doing well. Like some of my teammates, Mitchell and Owen, they did really, really good that weekend, and Jaden Harry was doing well. Logan Ploder had some great runs as well, but I think luck kind of got the better of him a couple times
Yeah.
in his races, which was unfortunate, but that is grand. Um, I remember I had one particular heat race where I think I fell down like 20 spots because of a couple
Oh,
incidents, and uh, Declan Black was on the other side of the fence in scales, and he kind of said to me like Logan, what happened? And I was like, I don't know, man, grands happened, and because that is really what it is. It's just like there's so much luck and
Yeah.
involved there. Not to say that it's all luck and that, you do well. It's just because you were lucky. Like definitely a lot of what you do also factors in, but sometimes stuff just happens to you,
Oh
and
yeah.
and that's the way it goes. And you just kind of got to get good at accepting that and moving on because you probably got a heat race in 20 minutes.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Especially if you're doing two classes like you did.
yeah, yeah,
Jeez.
it was a lot. It was a lot.
Did you do that on the
Um,
same cart?
yeah,
Oh my God, man.
yeah, it was rough. It was very rough. Um, because and also because you'd have to like we didn't have those wide rims. We didn't have enough of them.
Mm.
So not only would we have to do the weight and everything in between sessions, if the next session was a different class, if it was senior light to senior medium, we would have to change tires as well.
Oh.
Now, I got really good at changing tires, but I also never wanted to look at a tire again after that race weekend. So, good things come from hard times
Yep.
sometimes, but uh, definitely would have enjoyed more time between those sessions to chill out and just relax and like have a good time because
Oh.
that's another thing that I like about Grands is it is just a nice place to be.
It's a wicked
You get it.
atmosphere, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is totally right on. It is just awesome to be there, but it sucks when you don't really get to experience that much because
Yeah.
you're just spending so much time working on the cart. So it'd be interesting to go back again, maybe in the next couple of years with maybe I don't we just run one class or something like that and just kind of enjoy the experience more. But
Yeah.
still had a lot of fun, even though the results weren't great, but we were, I think, top 20 in light and top 40 in medium, but still had a ton of fun. It was cool to race those guys. And definitely that's been the thing I've been thinking about this off season. And like, how can I um, kind of experience that level of like competition again? But maybe in Canada where I'm, not having to travel to the US and,
Yeah, exactly.
drive 8 hours to Indiana every time I want to, go up against some really intense competition. So we think we found something that'll work in Canada and super excited to do it this year. So yeah.
Awesome stuff, man.
But yeah, so I guess that's 2025. That's up to
Most
date
recent year.
from right back from when it all started in 2017 to now.
Eh.
It's been a long journey. Jesus is my ninth year
Oh my
doing this,
God.
which is crazy. Um, Starting to make me feel old for sure, and I'm really not. But I can't imagine like how long have you been doing this, Chad?
Since
I don't know the year.
2012.
So that's 14 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
I don't want
That's
to.
cool.
Every time I'm at Goodwood now, and it's like, and even I see it in other places as well where I go like club races and stuff. Like Mosspark's another one where it's like a whole new batch of drivers. Same with
Mm,
sort of at Goodwood as well, and it's like I'm the most experienced person on that grid by a mile.
yep.
So
Yep. It's been really eerie for me at Hamilton because all these new drivers come each year,
yeah,
and I'm just thinking back to when I started and there was like four people in my division, and now we have like 40 plus grids for club races, and I'm like, man, where did the time go?
exactly.
Feels like I was racing Marco and Ferguson like yesterday. So yeah,
Shows the
it's
growth of
been
the
quite a
sport, man.
yeah, and it's great to see. It's really awesome to see because I think this, like other sports, it doesn't just teach you like how to be a good driver. I definitely don't think I'd be the same person I am without karting, and the people I met and what I've learned from them, and especially the fact that I met them when I was young, and I kind of looked up to them and learned from them. So that's also another thing karting has given me, and I hope it's given other people because I think it's super valuable, not just for your development as a driver, but also for your development as a person.
I agree.
Yeah. hmm
Break it
Yeah.
down.
But yeah. So this season will be fun. Um, it's gonna be so busy. I've done a spreadsheet where I've mapped out every weekend I'm racing from August to October.
Oh my God.
And in that span, I have 2 weekends to myself that I'm not racing. And we haven't even had our first race yet, and I've been super busy. Like either working at the track, working on the go-karts. Um, it's been a lot, but I think I'll get used to it again. Um, and it should just be a really fun season.
I think so too.
Mhm.
So, any other big plans coming up for 2026?
Yeah, so before when I was saying like I wanted to find that kind of competition in Canada, I thought, well, we should probably try and see if we can get a Rotax together and run Rotax Senior. So I'm gonna try and do both this year.
All
I'm
right.
gonna see how that goes. So I'll be doing RMC and try and run nationals
Oh,
with
baby.
with the Rotax under Prime. So that's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be a lot of work and a lot of commitment, a lot of days at the track, but I'm excited for it. I think it'll be really fun. I
Very
think,
true.
and it's also kind of one of the last years I'll be able to do something like this. I do see myself winding down a bit in the next couple years. This will probably be my last big year where I do it all. Um, I'll probably limit it a bit more, kind of like what you're doing with Interclub and stuff. Yeah, like I might not do Card Stars next year, might work more instead, or I don't know. We're gonna play it. We're gonna play it year by year, but we're definitely kind of seeing a future right now where we'd like to have a little bit more time to ourselves and not be at the track all the time. Even though we love being there, it can definitely get exhausting, like we
Yeah.
had last season. I'm sure you felt with just back-to-back weekends,
Ugh.
back-to-back nationals, and all that stuff. So it'll be nice to relax a bit more and maybe you know, focus more on other aspects of life, not just racing every summer.
I agree with that.
So,
If you ever want, you can always join me and Dave Bradley in the booth for some of these races, man.
hey, I might. It's an option.
Trust
But
me, not racing nationals was the best decision I made all year. I was so free of stress just being on the microphone that whole weekend and just getting to
that's
have the
good.
time of my life watching all the races instead of being worrying about what we need to set up and qualifying and all this in the cart and sweating like crazy because it's ridiculously hot out
Yeah,
and all that. Oof. It was
yeah,
so nice, especially with the way I saw qualifying go down, like with how little time you had and how quick you had to get your laps in. It jumbled the field to like I did not see that like your Briggs Senior field starting that way. That was like,
yeah, yeah, and it's rough too with like how the qualifyings are being treated now by the drivers because there is definitely just a new mentality about it. Whether it's a bad thing, I don't really know, but there's a lot more waiting in the pits,
hmm
a lot more like slowing down on track, trying to get laps behind people, everyone kind of out for themselves. And when you have 40 carts trying to do that, it can get really hectic
oh,
and
like
hard to get a decent lap together. Um, so yeah, playing that was definitely difficult. I don't think that qualifying went too well for us, like me, David, and Mitchell and Owen, but we worked back through it through the races, but yeah, yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. It was good to see you on the mic though. Like I thought you did a
thank
great
you.
job,
Thank
and
you.
it seemed like you were really enjoying yourself. Clearly, you
I
were,
am.
so that's good to hear. Um, yeah, it'd be cool to see you doing that this year too.
We'll be back on it this year. I'll be on the mic for Kart Stars for most of our MC and for the Canadian Championships again as well, which I believe they said, well, at least they're gonna make sure we'll see if it all works out. I think the plan is to do TSN again,
Good.
come Hamilton, which I was gonna be shocked if that didn't happen because it was such a renowned success and
Yeah, it was
everybody was
great.
so happy with how
Hmm.
everything went out. So
Yeah, the production value was great.
it was beautiful.
I thought I thought it was honestly maybe even better than Kart Chaser. I thought it was really good.
You're not the
Especially
first
like
person to say that.
yeah, I think that a Kart Chaser might have gotten a bad rap from its first thing in Canada with Kart Stars because I just think the feed was kind of bugging out and it's just hard to like get it all set up.
Hmm.
So they were struggling with it, but yeah, the Canadian national stuff was really good.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be
I,
cool to see that again this year.
the first race that they did at Kart Stars was actually pretty good. The night race that they did, they had a lot of problems, unfortunately.
Mm. Yeah, right. I
So
remember that too. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the first one was actually
Yeah.
fun. I've rewatched that Kart Chaser broadcast a bunch of times, and I was like, that's pretty solid.
Yeah, no,
So
it
especially
was
with
good.
weather
It was
working
good.
against them.
True. True, that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, it's cool to see the broadcasting for karting go up. I think it's definitely positive. I know the drivers love it because they can like go back and watch again and they don't need a GoPro to go relive their races, I guess. So that's neat. That's good to see. And I think it definitely brings great publicity.
It
I
does.
think like the kart chaser guys, I think have really been doing it right the last few years. Um, they're they're really like doing well to grow the sport, which is great to see. And yeah, if they can bring that here and do more of that here, that would also be
I'd
great.
love it. I'd
Yeah,
love it.
yeah, yeah. I hope that in the next couple years there can be more of like a merging between the Canadian and like the US organizations. It's good to see it with CKNA. Um, and the nationals they're doing like that'll be a cool race and yeah, I hope that those two like spheres of karting can merge more in the
Yeah,
future. And I think
I
they
agree.
will. I think just naturally it'll end up happening. So
Speaking of camera feeds and GoPros, I've noticed that Prime had some pretty good stuff with the GoPros going on this year. All of you
yeah,
guys started using them.
yeah, the rev mounts were really, really good. And yeah, I kind of introduced the idea in the beginning, and I just thought it would be a really good resource for coaching and
Good
just
man.
for even yourself, just looking back at your races, and because I think that sometimes people can, just their memory affects the way that they're thinking about how the session went. And if you can just look at the GoPro and kind of see it from a more objective view, it will help you understand what's going on a bit better, aside from just like thinking about it
Yeah,
in your head, because it can fade, it can be inaccurate. It's better to just have the video and like see it properly. So yeah, I think it's definitely been a good resource. And yeah, I'm glad we made the switch and everyone's kind of running one now. Um, Definitely just a net positive.
a few got lost in the process.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes it's like the plastic case or the mounting system. Yeah, they can fly off and that's
Unfortunately,
unfortunate, but yeah. Yeah.
it happens with
Um
time.
hmm Yeah, it's true. But yeah, I'm glad you and Logan do GoPro. It's good. Like I really enjoy it. It's good to like watch back some cool races and when you're just, sitting around and you're bored and you got nothing to do.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah, I think
So
it's great.
that's one thing that I really like is like not just to watch the race from my perspective, but multiple people like this is what I saw. This is what happened over here when I was here and maybe you weren't there. So it's like you get to see everybody's perspective. So
Hmm.
that's why I encourage exactly what you've done. You have your own channel now that you've
Hmm.
uploaded a few videos to. I encourage
Yep.
all the Prime guys and all your teammates and everybody in the community to do that. Make your own channel, start going them, and you'll see growth like over a bit of
Yep.
time, but then once it starts to get exposure, it really starts to get going.
For sure. Yeah, I completely agree. I've already seen that kind of with mine, and I've gotten some great positive feedback about how some of the new guys are actually watching them and learning a bit about the tracks that they're going to race. And I think that's actually probably like the best part about it. Because I think that karting is one of those sports that doesn't have a lot of um, accessible info about how to start. Like
Yeah.
a lot of it's just like the oral tradition of how it's passed down from people to people. And as the amount of people we're dealing with gets bigger and bigger, it's harder to talk to all of them and, make sure that they're getting the information they need. So yeah, I think a switch to more digital communication with regard to like information about how to start in karting is really useful. So that's
Yeah.
also part of why I did the YouTube channel. I'm trying to do some videos about racecraft for the drivers so that they can get like an introduction to some of the skills they're going to need if they want to succeed. So
Good
yeah, it's
stuff.
another factor there, and I'm happy that I've been doing it. I've been enjoying it for sure.
Good stuff, man.
But yeah, what are your plans for the season, Chad? What do you got going on?
Uh, like you kind of touched on, I'm not doing as many races last year. I actually went and looked back at all my footage and saw like how many actually races I did. I did 20. That might be the
Mm,
most I've ever done in the season, and I
yeah.
felt it. I felt it.
Yeah,
You
I did too.
you
Yeah,
talk
tell me
about
about it.
doing this multiple weeks at a time. I think there was twice last year where I was at a track doing like racing or commentary like 8 weekends in a row.
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
8 weekends in a row to start the season, a 2 week break, 8 weekends in a row again, I think. Or it was down the stretch a little bit. And with how hot it was during the summer, oh, it was
Yeah.
killing me. It was killing me.
Yeah, it
So,
was a rough season. I wonder, yeah, I do kind of wonder sometimes how much of that was the time spent at the track or also just how brutal the weather was.
yeah.
Um, it probably both. Yeah, it was rough for sure.
Oh,
But
man.
I don't know, hopefully the weather's a bit kinder. It doesn't look like this season or the schedule is going to be any kinder.
Not
Just as
really.
busy. So, yeah, but I think it'll still be enjoyable.
I think so too. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
cutting back to 10 or 12 races this year. That's what I mapped out. So, not nearly as many club races, hardly at all. No kart stars for me. I'll be on the mic for that this year. Same with me. I'm not racing nationals. Again, I'll be on the microphone for it. I've only raced nationals since the turn of the decade, and that was in 23. So I've been on the mic for
Shoot.
it every year aside from 2020 because we didn't have it, and 2023 because I participated in it.
Hmm.
What a disaster that was. Anyway,
It's all good. It's nationals, man. Crazy
oh,
stuff
it's
happens.
an entirely different animal.
Hmm. For sure. Yeah.
So, all right, we good to leave that here, I guess.
I think so. I think
Awesome,
so, man.
awesome, awesome.
Hey, thanks for having me on, man.
No
Yeah, it's
problem,
always
buddy.
great talking to you, dude. So, yeah, I'm excited for the season. Hope to see you out there.
100%, man. Hopefully, this season's going to be as competitive as we hope it's going to be, and got some good stuff going on.
I'm
We'll
sure it
see.
will.
We'll see if we're all on the podium by season's end for the championships. So I hope so. I hope
Yeah,
so.
same here, man. Same here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this episode of the Racing Topic Podcast. Just a few things before we end this. New merchandise has just come out. The new Racing Topic T-shirt has dropped, along with the little my channel logo is also on the back of it. We got new hats coming out as well. T-shirts, hoodies, hats are all making their way in. And Chad Webster Racing, the Racing Topic Podcast, and Reeve Webster Racing are sponsoring the upcoming track race number 2 at Goodwood Kartways this weekend. I will not be racing in it. We're going to have gifts, all that good jazz from the previous years that we normally have, and we will have all of our merchandise with us up at the VRS trailer, I believe, around that area, setting up on a table. If anybody wants to come around, get some merch, you're free, more than welcome to. And we'll hopefully see you there. I'll put up another update on my socials. If you guys want to follow me at Chad Webster Racing on Facebook and Instagram, please do. And yeah, hopefully we'll get a good turnout at that race. It is looking like a bit of a wet one, so dress accordingly, please. So, but that's going to do it for episode 17. And thank you, Logan Pacza, for being on the podcast tonight. And
Thank
we
you,
will,
man.
no problem at all, buddy. And we will all see you in the next one. Till then, Y'all take it easy.